Hello everyone, it is Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for coming back to my, oh my gosh, I forgot what the intro was. Thank you for, or welcome back to my channel. I am here for my July currently inked. I've got a different format for you today because as you can see, I have way more pens inked up than I normally have every month. So what I've done here in my book is I've already prepped it. This is my Galen Leather A5 notebook with 52 GSM Tomoe River paper. I've created a little bit of a chart here where in this box I'm going to do the rating for the pen and ink combination with ink, flow, and comfort. And then here I'm going to do the ink swatch. Here I'm going to write down the pen and ink, and then here I'm going to do the update or the progress report by the end of the month. So this actually, I believe, was taken from Lily Australia on YouTube. She had a format similar to this, and I thought this is a great way to get 11, 12 pens on here and still be able to do a review of each of them. All right, let's get started. So I'll be using my Speedball Be nib that I got from Amazon to do the ink swatch, and this is a nib holder that I purchased off of Garage Fountain Pen on Instagram, because I have actually quite a few people ask me about this. So the first ink we have here is Diamine Humbug, and it is currently inked in my Zodiac Penco, and this is in the Aries model, actually, the Aries model, and this is the Arabian Nights Koi. It's so hard keeping track of all the different Jonathan Brooks resins because they're beautiful, and I love this because it's in a matte finish. I mean, it wasn't an exact match for Diamine Humbug, but it was such a joy to use, and I really didn't want to stop writing with it because it's such a beautiful ink. But also, I don't think I got as much of a chance to write with it as I wanted to, and that actually says a lot about, you know, the ink. Like, if I feel like I didn't get enough time to explore it, well then that means I just enjoyed using it for what it was. So I won't be doing different paper comparisons today, and I don't normally do different paper comparisons for my currently inked. I only really do that for new inks or ink explorations. So then here we have I'm gonna do Zodiac Penco, and this is the Arabian, hold on, oh gosh, there was a ton of stuff on my paper. Arabian Nights, this is going well, Koi, and this is in the fine nib, and this has Diamine Ba Humbug. And you can see the shimmer coming up here. The shimmer, I think, matches with this pen really well. And oh, sorry, this is an extra fine nib. And even with the extra fine nib in here, it's actually working quite well. So that is a Zodiac Penco Arabian Nights Koi with Diamine Ba Humbug. And so far, really, really liking that. The next pen and ink combination is Wearingeul Dracula, and I have this in my Le Bon 325 in Cambridge, and this has a medium stub nib. This ink was sent to me by Wava. Thank you very much. And it was an ink actually at first that I wasn't really sure about. I wasn't sure if I would really like this bloody type of red, but after using it a bit in 30 inks 30 days, I actually really like it and wanted to explore it a bit further. Plus, it does so well in the stub nib on this Le Bon 325. So Le Bon, like, look at that, Le Bon 325 Cambridge. Whoop. And it's got a medium stub. And it is Wearingeul Dracula. Oh, already I've had such fun using this pen and ink combination, and I felt like I needed to use it more, which is why it is still currently inked up, and I am loving the red with that purple shimmer. So fun. So that is my Le Bon 325 with Wearing Gold Dracula. The next pen and ink combination is Van Diemen's August, and I have that in my Leonardo Momento Zero Grande 2.0 in Angel Skin. And I didn't put a ton of ink in this pen. I do want to finish what I have in there, but part of me is also tempted to re-ink it once it does empty out, but we will see. I just didn't want to waste any of the ink that was in that pen, because have a look at this. Like, how beautiful is that? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I think a great match for this pen, and you're going to see it dry with these beautiful shimmers in it as well. This was sent to me by my friend S, and it's like she knows my taste. She really, really knows my taste. So this is my Leonardo. Oh, it writes so beautifully. Momento Zero Grande 2.0 in Angel Skin. And this has a fine 14, is it 14 karat? It's a fine gold nib. So this is Van Diemen's August. Already so pretty, and you can see that it's drying actually a darker pink after being swatched on the page. I really, really enjoy that. And then once it dries, I'll show you all of these close up. So that is my Leonardo Momento Zero Grande 2.0 with Van Diemen's August. Next we have Diamine Tranquility, and this is in my Narwhal or Navalur Voyage Tromso. So let's put that on the side here. And this is another Inkvent ink, which was sent to me by Miss Marilyn Darling. Thank you. And I mean, it's not an exact match for the pen, but man, is that fun. Oh gosh, I just caught myself saying man, sorry. I hate when I accidentally say that. Okay, so this is my Navalur Voyage Tromso, and you can already see the shimmers coming out in that ink sample, or in that swatch. Beautiful. And this has a fine nib. And this fine nib has served me very, very well. I haven't had any issues with the nib itself. It's so fun to write with, and I've put a lot of shimmers in this pen, and it's worked out wonderfully for me. And I know there's a lot of people who don't want to put shimmers in their finer, extra fine nibs, but if you notice, all the inks so far here are shimmer inks, but it's worked out so well for me so far. So that is Diamine Tranquility in my Narwhal Voyage Tromso. Next we have Diamine Rainbow's End, and this is in my Leonardo Furore in Aqua Petra, and that has a fine nib. I really, really like this purple. And again, another shimmer ink. Wow, I'm going through a lot of the shimmer inks. I'm trying to figure out how many of these are not shimmer. And I don't think there's that many without shimmer. It's a very shimmer heavy month, but I am not mad at that. Ooh, let's not drop the ink sample. And so this is my Leonardo Furore in Aqua Petra. Now this is the only Furore model that I have. I did end up selling the ginger just because I felt like the color, the resin of the ginger was very close to my Petrified Forest SD. So I thought, yeah, might as well sell that. But I love the way that this pen feels in my hand. And this one has a nib that I believe has been tuned and smoothed by Annabelle of Applebaum. Beautiful, beautiful ink. So that is my Leonardo Furore Aqua Petra with Diamine Rainbow's End. The next ink is Panonia Lights of Niagara, and this one was a Scriptus 2023 pen show exclusive, and this is in my Just Turnings pastel primary manipulation. Again, another shimmer ink. Are we surprised at this point? I'm looking at the rest of the pens and I'm like, maybe 2 out of the 11 that are inked do not have shimmer. And this one is so fun. Oh my gosh. Like, gorgeous, gorgeous. And when it dries, it's just fantastic. This one was sent to me by my friend S, and I love the bottles that she's used for the samples. They're just adorable. Like, how cute are they? So my Just Turnings pastel primary manipulation has an extra fine architect nib on here, and it handles the shimmer really well. And it's such a fun pen and nib to use. So this is an extra fine architect. Yes, I have tiny enough writing that an extra fine architect still gives me line variation. So Scriptus 2023. I have not yet made it out to Toronto for Scriptus. I would like to one year, but we will see. Can't remember if it's the end of October or end of September. Yeah, oh, isn't that gorgeous? Just wait until it dries. It's lovely. So that is my Just Turnings pastel primary manipulation with Panonia Lights of Niagara. The next pen and ink combination is what I'm actually using in my A6 5-year journal for the month of July. It is Wearing Gold Persephone with my Franklin-Christoph model, was it 31, in Ascension Wing. Now, remember how I told you that I was a little bit uncomfortable with the threads here? I have actually really enjoyed using this pen, and those threads no longer, well, don't bother me as much as it originally did when I first unboxed the pen. And I have really, really loved using this pen and ink combination, and I had to keep using it because it's just, look at this, such a gorgeous ink. Love that purple. It reminds me a little bit of Hara Hara, but with shimmer. Ooh. And when it dries, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning. So this is my Franklin, oh, Lucy just kicked me, Kristoff. Did I spell that right? Or is it just C-R-I? Model. I feel like I have to double check this now. Like, how do I not know what this pen is? And you know where I'm going to check? I'm going to check on my actual Goulet Pens order, which is on, sorry, this is off screen, but this is, here we go, pen purchases, Goulet Pens. It is, yeah, Franklin-Christoph model 31 in Ascension Wing, which is a resin from Storm Wind Blanks. And this has a fine nib. And this has Wearing Gold Persephone, another shimmer ink. And it's beautiful. Like, I just look forward to writing with this every day. I love it. Love, love, love it. All right, so that is my Franklin-Christoph model 31 with Wearing Gold Persephone. The next pen and ink combination we have is my Zodiac Penco in the Virgo model in the Abalone from Jonathan Brooks. Ah, oh well, that'll match anyway. So that is there. And I have in it Birmingham Penco Neutron Star. This one is not one that I thought would be for me, but it is one that I want to continue exploring this month. You can already see all the sheen on the rim of the sample vial. It is fantastic. Like, look, you can tell just by the tone of that blue, it is going to sheen, but it also has a fantastic shimmer. Gosh, another shimmer ink. What is going on? And okay, I want to make sure that that closes because I have had this ink all over me at one point, so I do not want to risk that again. So you can already see as it's drying the sheen forming around the edges here. So that is my Zodiac Penco, and this is in the abalone, and this has an extra fine nib, and it's actually working really well in this. So Birmingham, Penco, Neutron, Star. Just reminds me of that show Jimmy Neutron when I was growing up. I never watched it, my little brother did, I think, but the name reminds me of that. So we'll see how I, like writing with this, because normally I don't like a ton of sheen, but the shimmer in this kind of helps to simmer down or tone down the sheen a little bit in this ink. So that is my Zodiac Penco in abalone with Birmingham Penco Neutron Star. The next pen and ink combination is my Just Turnings, another Just Turnings, and this is in my custom resin from Turnt Penco. This is the Swirly Joyful Kismet. If you are actually interested in this resin, Tim of Turnt Penco still does sell it on his site, and I have it inked with Diamine Sugar Snap, another shimmer ink. Wow, I think I will have 9 inks that are shimmer out of the whole bunch, and only 2 without shimmer. So that's interesting. Oh, that's a fun, punchy green. I like that, and I think it actually matches really well with the Just Turnings or the Swirly Joyful Kismet. I have 2 Just Turnings on here. I have 2 Leonardos here, and I have 2 Zodiac Pencos here. Interesting. So this is the, oh, this also has an architect nib. Just Turnings in the Swirly Joyful Kismet, but this is a fine architect nib. And this has Diamine Sugar Snap, another ink vent ink, but so fun. Oh, I love this nib. And it brings out, or it allows the shimmer to really shine. Shimmer to shine because of the line variation you get in that nib. So that is my Just Turning Swirly Joyful Kismet with Diamine Sugar Snap. So this next pen, the Pelikan M800, does not actually, there's no ink sample remaining. All of the ink that I'm wanting to use is all in the pen. There's nothing left in the sample of Rohrer and Klingner, nope, wrong one. Rohrer and Klingner Deep Pine. So there's nothing left in the sample ink vial. All the ink for it is in here. So I'm going to have to, I know there's some people that do this, and I've never been able to do that. And I almost want to just expel a little bit of ink. There. And move it around with my, oh gosh, that's way too much ink. That is going to bleed through. So what I'm gonna do is actually grab my paintbrush and get some of that off. There we go. Okay, saved by a paintbrush. All right, so this here is My Pelikan. I don't know how much ink is left in here, so I will use it until it dries out. My green black. And this is an extra fine nib, and this is a very, 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 very juicy extra fine nib with Roar and Klingner Deep Pine, and I think this was also like a limited edition ink. But it's the two of them together already are very wet and juicy, almost too wet for my liking, but such a beautiful ink, and I think it's a great match. So that is my Pelikan M800 with Roar and Klingner Deep Pine. Last but not least, we have Sailor Ink Studio 273. This was recommended to me after I did my dusty pink brown, no, after I did my brown inks exploration, and I purchased this from Goulet Pens, and I'm so glad I did. I am tempted to, well, tempted to get a bottle or at least another sample because it's such a great ink. I'm trying to get the last of the sample on my nib here, which is proving difficult. But it's so lovely. Now in the ink swatch itself matches the pen beautifully, but the ink swatch as well shows off a lot of the chromo shading properties. But because this is in my silver burl and the strata quartz, let's just admire the resin. Beautiful. Because this has an extra fine nib, you're not going to see a lot of those chromo shading properties in there, which I'm fine with because it still looks beautiful in the writing sample. Strata quartz, and this has an extra fine nib. Look at the difference though between this extra fine and the extra fine on the Pelikan M800. Huge, huge difference. So this has Sailor Ink Studio 273, and I love it. This pen and ink combination is smooth, got good flow, and it's just such a gorgeous, gorgeous ink. So that is my silver burl strata quartz with Sailor Ink Studio 273. So there are all of my pen and ink combinations for July, and now that I'm looking at these two next to each other, they do look very similar, but then in the writing sample you can see that Dracula is darker. Let me bring that up closer to the camera here. So we have Bah Humbug, and you could already see the shimmer in that, like that is fantastic. Then Wearing Ghoul Dracula, it's that kind of silvery blue shimmer in here, and then Van Diemen's August. You can see the shimmer actually looks a little bit more silver in here rather than blue in the Wearing Ghoul Dracula, but in the writing sample you could see how different they are. Then we have Diamond Tranquility. Look at the greenish gold shimmer with that purple. I mean, it looks greenish gold to me, but I'm sure it's just gold to some of you. Then we have Diamond Rainbows, and on the camera, you can't see it as much, but I'm trying to show you there we go, the shimmer there. So fun. And then we have the Panonia Lights of Niagara. Just check this out. Oh, come on, camera, pick up the shimmer. There we go. There it is. See all of that shimmer, and even in rainbows in there as well. Beautiful. And then we have Wearing Ghoul Persephone. I'm so glad that I'm continuing to use this. The shimmer isn't like in your face, punch you with shimmer type, but it's enough to add a little bit of interest and sparkle to your writing. Then we have Neutron Star, which really is just, here you go with all the shimmer and the sheen. And I do like the fact that in an extra fine nib, it's not so much like really in your face. It's almost muted down a little bit because it is an extra fine nib. Then we have Sugar Snap, which I really love that shade of green, and in a fine architect nib you still get that line variation. You can see even in the writing sample there's that shimmer there, really pretty. Then Roar and Klingner Deep Pine. I didn't get a ton of shading in this one, and it's such a wet combination, so we'll see how I feel about it at the end. And then lastly, my Silver Brill Strata Quartz with the Sailor Ink Studio 273. It looks so pink here in the ink swatch, but a little bit more brown in the writing sample. And I am really excited to be continuing to explore these. So that is it for me for July. I will have a full progress report at the end of July, but gosh, I guess these last few weeks have been crazy. Like me and my husband going away for a weekend, then me starting a new job, and then trying to get my new release out. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind month or so, but I'm so glad to have been able to get this out and to focus on these. And I think actually this format will work if I ever do decide to continue having this many pens inked. We'll see. All right, but that is it for me. Let me know what your favorites are in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe. Thanks again, and have yourselves a great day.